Patrice, I want to start with you. I think it's important to remind our viewers what's at stake in these arguments. Tell us why courses like yours are important to students.
Well, for me as an African-American woman and teacher, it's important for me to include stories, history that reflect the students that I teach. They need to see themselves in the history that they're learning. They need to understand that they have always been, or African-Americans have been a part of this country from the very beginning. There's nothing that has been accomplished in this our history of the United States that doesn't involve African Americans. African American studies and history is U.S. history. So to cut that out is to not only, ignore the contributions of people of color, but also to block out part of the U.S. history as well that we're trying to teach.
Absolutely. And Dr. Keisha Blain, my apologies for getting your name wrong a moment ago. Dr. Blain, the senior vice president of the College Board spoke with MSNBC show host Simone Sanders earlier. Let's listen to what he said.
We did not make a single change to this framework as a result of anything anyone said who wasn't a scholar, a teacher, or a student. Moreover, I have been barnstorming the country for 2 years, mostly in front of African-American audiences, talking to them about this course. What I hear in almost every one of these conversations is, I wish I'd have had that course when I was in high school. Now we have an opportunity to have a course that is created by some of the best scholars in the field, delivered at scale to hundreds of thousands of students. I do hope we're able to take advantage of that.
Dr. Blain, what do you make of his explanation?
Well, unfortunately, I think it's disingenuous. In fact, I recently signed an open letter along with an estimated 650 scholars of African American studies. Many of those scholars were consulted for this particular curriculum. Many of them have openly expressed shock over the changes. They were not consulted when these set of changes were made. And I think many of them were caught by surprise. But more to the point, the fact that they were signing the open letter underscores that collectively we see this as a shameful act. Quite frankly, the College Board should be ashamed that they have allowed themselves to be censored. And it's ridiculous to say nothing has changed. Yes, some things have changed because what has happened is that certain aspects of the curriculum are now quote unquote optional as opposed to mandatory. So let's be clear, if you're saying that you can choose to talk about Black Lives Matter as an example, well, that means that teachers could decide to have an entire course on African American studies and not talk about perhaps the single most impactful social and political movement of recent history. So it is problematic to say that changes were not made. Changes were certainly made.